Good morning, kids. This video is for my Math 2 class for first period, and this is for Wednesday. I'm really sorry I'm not back yet, kids. They teased me and told me that I could come back Wednesday, and then they changed their mind and said, no, you can't come back till Thursday. So you guys have one more day without me, but I do feel good enough to make you a video of my own today. So we are going to go over percent of change, and I know you watched a video on it yesterday, but I want to make sure that you understood that video before I give you more problems to do on it. So I just want to do a couple examples of percent of change and explain what it is, and then I will give you some problems to do on your own. So you don't have to listen to me for very long. So percent of change is a way of explaining how much something changed, but expressing that as a percent. For example, I'm going to go buy a candy bar. The old price for the candy bar was $1. So when I used to buy candy bars way back in the day when I was little, they cost $1 each. Now I go to the grocery store and that same candy bar costs $2. So the price of that candy bar went up by $1. But I'm not going to talk about the change in dollars. I'm going to express that as a percent. I'm going to say the price went up a certain percent. And we're going to calculate that. In yesterday's video, you learned that you basically write a fraction. On the top of the fraction, you put the amount of change. How much did the price change? Amount of change. So the amount of change is $1. The price went up $1. On the bottom of that fraction, we are going to put the original number. The original number always goes on the bottom. The original number in this problem is 1. That candy bar originally cost $1. So this is my fraction, and I'll divide to turn that into a decimal. When you are dividing a fraction to turn it into a decimal, top number always goes into your calculator first. Do you hear me? So you're going to take 1 divided by 1, which is just 1. So it's the number 1. That's the decimal. How do we turn a decimal then into a percent? We move the decimal point to the right 2 times. So here's the decimal point. Move the decimal point over 2 times. That is a 100% change in price. When the price of something doubles, the percent of change is 100%. So if I wanted to be dramatic, I could go up to my friends and say, oh, the cost of candy bars has gone up by 100%. And that makes it sound like I'm paying an enormous amount of money for a candy bar, when really I'm only paying $2, and that's not that much. It's more expensive, but it's not crazy like I'm making it seem. So whenever something doubles, that's 100% of change. If something goes up by half the amount, that would be a 50% change. So you can estimate your answers in that way by thinking about 100% means to double something. Let's just do 2 more examples, and then you'll be done listening to me talk for today. All right, my next example is about basketball. So you play basketball with your friends, and usually you average 14 baskets per game. You get the ball into the basket about 14 times in a game. But you're getting a little older now, and your knees are getting kind of bad, and you're getting a little slower, and you're not making as many baskets these days. Nowadays, when you play basketball with your friends, you only make about 8 baskets per game. So back in the old days, you used to average 14 baskets a game. Now you're averaging 8 baskets a game. We're going to find the percent of change for this problem. So draw a fraction bar. On the top, you're going to put the amount of change. How much did your basketball average change? It was 14, now it's 8. How much did it change? 6, right? It went down 6. 14 minus 8 makes 6. So that's the number on top. On the bottom, you always put the original number. The original number was 14. That's your old original number. So this is the fraction that represents your percent of change. You just need to turn this into a percent now. You could use your calculator. You're going to type 6 divided by 14. The top number goes into your calculator first. Top number first. So 6 divided by 14. When you type that into your calculator, you should get 0.42857. And then we move the decimal point over 2 spots. And why don't we round that to the nearest percent? This is 42.85. So let's make it 43%. We will round it to the nearest percent unless the worksheet for today tells you otherwise. So this problem was a 43% change in how many baskets you make per game. I have a question for y'all. Is this 43% an increase or a decrease? It's a decrease, right? When something goes down, that is what decrease means. When something goes up, that's what increase means. So this is a 43% decrease. So if you see the words increase and decrease today, that's just another way of saying percent of change. One last problem. You guys know me, I always have to bring it back to food, and especially cookies. So, I eat 4 cookies per day, usually. 4 cookies. But since I started selling Girl Scout cookies, I've been pigging out, and I've started eating more like 7 cookies per day. We're going to find my percent of change in my eating of cookies. So draw yourself a fraction bar. On the top, you put the amount of change. How much has my cookie eating changed? I used to eat 4, now I eat 7. How much change is that? 3, right? My number of cookies I eat went up 3. On the bottom, we always put our original number. My old number was 4. I used to eat 4 cookies. That's my original. So I'm going to say this one last time. On the top, you put the amount of change. Basically, you subtract your 2 numbers to see how much it changed. On the bottom, you put your original number. Now I have a fraction, 3/4. I just have to change that into a percent. I can divide 3 divided by 4 to get 0.75. That's a decimal. Now turn that into a percent. Move the decimal point over 2 times, 75%. Is that an increase or a decrease? That is an increase. My number of cookies that I eat per day increased. So it is an increase. It went up. All right, that's it for me for today. For the rest of class, you are going to work on a worksheet. You're going to do some percent of change problems on a worksheet. If your sub allows you to, if you're well behaved, you could work together in small groups or partners. When you're done, you're going to do the coloring sheet that goes along with it. So if you can behave yourselves, you could work with a partner or with groups. If you can't, you're going to be silent and work by yourself. Also, if you're well behaved, you won't have homework tonight. If you're not, the sub is going to text me and I'm going to post a homework assignment to Google Classroom. So behave yourselves and be good. And hopefully, fingers crossed, I will see you tomorrow because I miss you guys. So have a great day. Be good. I love you. Bye-bye.